Hello and welcome to part one of Front Range River. This is the big Thompson River, comes out of Estes Park right through our little town of Loveland and just east of us between Loveland and Greeley. This part one concentrates on how to paint, how to start a painting by concentrating on where the basic shapes are going to be and the basic value. No detail, please, no detail. If you want fence posts, things like that, do it later. But we're going to take our best stab at values. So I tried to hone it in as best I could. I think I could have done a better job here in the river. It's a little bit lighter than I wanted it to be. But that being said, we can still work on top of this because all this paint's going to be painted on top of, or at least about 75% of it, to bring about balance, which we'll do and talk about that tomorrow in part two. So, get outside and paint. Paint with your friends, get critiques, and keep tuning in with me because I keep you painting on a regular basis. And I really hope you like this new format that I'm going to be bringing all this stuff to you on a regular basis, and I'm kind of excited about this painting. All right, let's get to painting. All right. Hello and welcome to part one of a three-part series called Front Range River. Now this particular river that you see in the reference is the Big Thompson River, just east of Loveland, Colorado, the community I live in. And I know you people back east are saying, boy, that looks more like a stream. And I know we have pretty small rivers out here because of the scarcity of water. So we're a little generous with that term river. I'm starting with my home row keys, my two blues, my reds, my warms. I don't have my bismuth out. I don't need that maybe until later in the painting. It's my brightest yellow. I have my two transparents, transparent oxide red, transparent oxide brown. My coal gray and my viridian. These are my two extras that I sometimes put on as I like to have these things ready to, they just add some more multiplications for me to change these colors around and mix them in to these colors. I have my T7, my good old mixing palette knife here. Probably won't be using much of my connoisseur, which is a little more delicate palette knife, because this is what I paint with on the canvas. I have my razor blade scraper, and looks like I have these three guys here that I'll be using with these three brushes. This is a 6 Rosemary Filbert 278, and this is a Rosemary Long Flat 2025. And this is a Da Vinci number 3, but it's all worn out. See, it's hardly anything left of it. But it's going to be drawing some shapes. All right. So what do I want to do in part one in this 30-minute segment? And what I want to do is get the basic shapes in the right part of the canvas. So with those shapes, I'll draw the shapes in with lines, and then with that I'm going to fill in those shapes with value color with these two brushes. And value colors are going to be put in thin, and they'll have some influence on the paint I put on top of them later. But basically, when I fill this in with value colors, it gives me more information if I've got my shapes in the right place and if I'm in the right neighborhood for value color. Value color is nothing more than a color with a value. A value is dark and light, and a color is, temperature. All right, so here we go with mixture. So I want to make a drawing color, so I'm just going to make a blue. Transparent oxide red, a little bit more blue. I'm going to put some solvent right here. I'm using Gamsol as my mixing the stuff here. It's just a mixing stuff that I clean my brushes with and all that stuff. And keep things thin in this case. Remember, part one, we keep the paints thin. So I know we have some sort of a hill over here. And over here, it looks like above center, we have a foundation line. So I'm going to call it the horizon line. Maybe somewhere in here, maybe that was too high, that first one. And then I have a big tree here, and then I have the small guys coming here. And then I have river somewhere in here. And off into here. And then I have bank. So I have bank coming around here. And this is all dark in here. And this is big tree, little trees. And then, I don't know if I'll put the fence posts in or not. I'll make that decision later. And then I have a big tree over here that actually comes out. Here, with lots of sky holes in it. Then I have a forward tree in front of him. I think I have two trees here, or another. So we have a big dark tree in here. And then we have another little bush guy here in front. And this big triangle, we're going to have to put some interest in here, maybe different folds of the hill. And we might put, if we're going to put this fence post in, it's going to be here and here. Here. All right, I'm going to switch over to a bigger brush. Okay, I'm going to go back to my mixture and go back to blue, transparent oxide red. Throw a little bit of transparent oxide brown, touch of yellow ochre, and I'm getting the number 6 filbert. A little bit more blue in here. And I'm working this dark area over here. I'm searching for darks. And I just added more blue because I'm getting way down here in this shadow area. See that difference between this and that? Just made a big difference. This is a little bit more brown, this is more blue. That's a dark. I'm making this river kind of dark too, but you see I'm doing a thinner, quicker brush stroke because it is lighter in some ways than this dark. There are some really dark shadows coming across here, and I will do that now. I'm going to go back to more blue and a little bit more brown, transparent oxide red and yellow ochre, brown. yellow ochre, and a little blue. And I'm going to go into here, this dark area over here. And I'm going to give a light treatment over here on the left. I think now that I look at this, my triangle bank here is a little too tall. I'm going to bring him down just a little bit. And now I am going to switch gears here and go more into the green area. So let's see what we got here. Not much. Look at that. Little bit of color left. So I'm going to throw some yellow ochre into this. And a little bit of Hansa yellow deep. It's kind of a subtle. I'm adding some warms to this mixture of these Hansa colors and these yellow ochres. So that's the warm spectrum. Just added a little bit more solvent to the mixture. All right, I'm going to. Now I know there's sky holes coming through, and we can get to those later. And let's go over here now and make this a little brighter on the right. So I'm adding more Hansa yellow and a little Hansa medium. I'm going to just juice it up with a little bit of solvent. And I think this comes down right to the river, some of these lights. It's kind of a different green up front here, so I'm going to add a little bit of Viridian to the mixture. This guy seems a little different in his mixture. You can see just by adding a little bit of Viridian into this darker mixture, we've added this other element of green here. You can see I still left my darks in here, and I'll try to cover up some of these canvas holes with the green that I just mixed. I lost some of my valuable dark here, and I'm going to have to get that back later. What I really like about these trees that go back is that warm color that looks like a field behind there. I found this place because I've been painting for the last 15 years with Lise Gia, my painting companion here in Loveland. And Lise really knows the Front Range for all these spots. This is down on Route 13. And since I've taken this, I took this reference about, 13 years ago, and now this is all houses back in here now. Because the Front Range is growing. All right, let's clean this up. See what we got left, if we can use anything here. And we have just a little bit of green. All right. Let's think about these subtle greens that are going on in here and in here. These are actually cool blues here. So I'm going to clean my number 6 and go to this number 4 rosemary and start my new mixture. I try to keep my shoulder out of the camera here, and I'm not always successful in doing that, so I apologize. Alright, so I want to get this kind of cool blue thing here. So I'm going to go with cobalt, a little bit of green, and a lot of white. I put too much white in. Got to go in cautiously. There we go. I think that might be it. Might even have to be darker. I'll add a little bit of ultra in there too. Boy, that got it darker quicker. And let's get these guys in here. Now I know there's streaks of light coming across here and all that, but we will. I just kind of squint and see what is my first teacher called this the mother color. What's the basic, when you squint down, and I see kind of a cool blue here. And I'm going to put some of that over in here too, in a few places. I need to get back and make a dark, which is transparent oxide red and blue. I got to get this, there's a bank here that is dark. And it gets larger as it goes to the right. It gets thinner as it goes back toward the trees. And now let's make a green for the banks here, okay? So, let's use a blue. Let's get a Hansa yellow. A little ultra. I'm going to throw in just a touch of Viridian and white. And I think that's going to get us in the right neighborhood for now. I'm working on a 10 by 12 canvas. I paint on canvas on gator board. Gator board is a nice backing because it doesn't warp. I like a good solid surface. So, you know, it's not that I haven't used stretch canvas, it's just, I just like this nice solid surface to work on. And there we go. Well, there's this subtle green in the river, and it's a subtle blue. So I'm going to get back here, take a look at what I've done so far, and see what we can do about coming up with our mixture for the river, which will be next. Okay. Can I use anything I already have? I'm always trying to just go to the next mixture using whatever I have, and so I picked up everything I had left over from other stuff, and that's probably not going to help. So let's go back into my blue. So I'm going into cobalt, a little bit of ultra, ultra, ultra. It's too close to my shadow color, but you know, looking at it, those two value colors are very close, but the river is brighter in value. So I'm adding more white and more cobalt. This was one of these crystal clear, sunny, crisp fall mornings that we were out there painting. All right, so with this cobalt mixture of, we had that subtle green that we built on top of. It's still not there. I need more blue, more cobalt. Here we go. Boy, it's just too close to what I already mixed up above. For this, I'm going to have to work on that. I'm going to add some more green to this. So I'm adding some Viridian and some Ultra. Viridian and Ultra gets darker as I go over here. I'm going to add just a little bit of solvent, and when I do that I get a little bit more mileage out of my mixture. Flows a little farther. And over on the far left is just a good subtle blue. I just added some Ultra just right in here. Trying to get these values in the right neighborhood. And I just didn't get it on this one, I can tell you. Right here, I'm just not right yet. I'm doing okay on time, so let me see what I can do. So I'm scraping this up a little bit, and I'm going to go with some Ultra and white. And I'm going to sneak this in right here. And I think that's going to help. Okay, it's lighter. And that's working. I'm going to reinforce it with the stroke that comes horizontal across here. Now there's a bank here that shows where the bank ends and the reflective water begins. So I need to bring an island out here. And I'm going to reinforce that with a transparent oxide red and brown. And it kind of comes out from here. And it comes pretty far out. So I'm going to go to a transparent oxide brown and blue and work on showing where this bank should start. So it's kind of, the bank is here. Then there's, I think, a shore. It comes out here. Comes out pretty far. So let me go in here with these subtle blues I have. It shows where this bank is. So you can kind of get an idea of where that is. And I need to meld these two darks together right in here. And I'm going to cover up some of my peekaboo white canvas coming through here. Okay, that should do it. Now let's go up to the sky, but before then, let's get that gold area behind that is that nice warm color. It's peeking out below the trees. All right, so I'm going to switch to a thinner brush and get that subtle warm mixed up next. So I'm going to mix up some gold and some white. Gold. This is actually cat orange. I'm going to add just a little bit of yellow ochre to it. And that is my gold color. And I'm going to put this in right up in here. Some coming through that tree there. All right, that seems to be the right deal right there. Now there's also, I think above that, some sort of a tree line. So I'm going to go back to my blues and browns, yellow ochres, blue. As things go back, they get bluer, so I'm going to put this blue-green guy in back in here. And now with this mixture, I'm going to bring some of my background trees a little bit lower and break up. And we'll worry about trunks later. All right, let's do sky. And that would bring us pretty much to the end of this. So we're going to go cobalt, viridian, cobalt, viridian, and we're going to try that. I'm going to go back to the number 4 flat and work my sky in. I'm going to thin it down a little bit. It's a little too thick. Now it's easy to get contamination in your brush, so that's why I load it up so much. You see me, every time I get close to the tree, I get some contamination, so I just go back into my mixture and smear it in there to lose my contamination. Now I'm going to just run my brush along the side of the, right in between the two colors, and soften the edge. A little screwy here with the gold, and I brought that up. Okay, so I think that should about do it for blocking. We've covered the whole canvas with value color. I'm getting back, taking a look at it. I really need to get this value right in the river. It's still not quite there yet, but hey, we got time to finish this painting in part 2 and define and get these mixtures honed in really, really well. But I think for part one, we have done admirably. And I'm just trying to work my contamination out of here. Because it's kind of don't want things to look smudgy. Okay, get rid of that guy. I'm going to try some of this reflective color from the sky right here. That might help. Probably should use a smaller brush on that. Okay, folks, that does it for me. Thank you for coming by for part one of Front Range River, which is being generous with the term river. But nonetheless, that's our beloved Big Thompson River that goes clear up to Estes Park and into Rocky Mountain National Park. All right, with that, I'm going to sign off and say thanks for coming by for part one. And we have 2 more parts to go to finish this painting. All right.